play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the
Let's
tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
You can do anything you want. I ain't got no problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. No, come find me. No, come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off.
I ain't a hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Sunday afternoon here inside the studio. Give me one quick second. I got to go over there and unhook an audio button. I'm hearing myself echoing in the background right about now, and you know how I am with the ADD brain and football brain. This was really just an opportunity for me to audio check. Make sure the chat lets me know if there are any problems right now. Make sure you go ahead and let me know that while I go unhook this. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Got an absolutely loaded one for you guys today. It is Sunday during a college football season, which means I am solo here inside the studio. And like I said, we got a loaded one for you. I want to say this first and foremost. Joey Freshwater, a.k.a. Lane Kiffin, and all of the football coaching world and all of Pete Thamels and all of the Nakoses and all of the naysayers are trying to distract us from ball. They are trying to distract this Sunday reaction show from the nitty-gritty, from the good stuff, from rivalry weekend, from the actual stuff that happened in between the white lines on them 53 and a halves. They are trying. The outside world is trying to distract us from this here ball. We will not let it happen. We will not let it happen today. We will give you our opinions on Lane Kiffin to LSU. We will give you our opinions on Alex Golish to Auburn. We will give you our opinions on John Summerall to Florida, but we will not do it up on the front of this. We will not do it at the keynote top of this show. We are going to talk this here ball today, okay? We're going to talk this here ball today. We will talk that there drama at the end of this hour. We all agree? Amen. We all agree. Let's get after it. We got a great one for you. Friday and Saturday. This weekend, rivalry weekend, just absolutely delivered. Friday gave us two college football playoff impactful matchups, right? Georgia Tech, Georgia, gives us a 16-9 fourth quarter sweater. We go on Friday night. We get Texas A&M and Texas giving us an absolutely dime of a football game. All right, Texas goes out there, wins 27-17. We got reactions on that one. And then Saturday just went bar for bar, line from line, wire to wire. We going to deliver. That's what we're going to do on the last weekend of college football. We are going to deliver. The game's going to give us an entertaining one for 3.5 quarters and some snow flurries. How about that? Right? We're going to go from the game to that 3:30 window. Tennessee and Vandy going to get after it. And that was a 3-quarter football game till Vandy walked away with it in the fourth. Oregon and Washington was a 3-quarter football game. I'd say that was a 50-minute football game till Oregon walked away with it in the last 10 minutes of that. I mean, it was bar for bar, line for line, game for game, really, really good. And then the Iron Bowl capped it off as it always does. I have a new petition. All right. Rivalry weekend, because Fox wants to make that a big noon kickoff. And thank God it has to be, because I ain't trying to see that game be played in November at 10 o'clock up there in the north. We don't need that being a night game. It's plenty cold up there. It's plenty miserable. So if Fox insists on being big noon kickoff, then I insist the SEC window close and college football window close every single rivalry weekend with the Iron Bowl. Night game mandatory has to be. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the way it ought to be. I think we ought to open our Saturday rivalry, our final weekend of college football. I think we ought to open that sucker like a Christmas Day a present with the game at noon and just put ourselves to bed nice and snug as a football fan with the Iron Bowl at night. Can I get big dubs in the chat for that take? I think that's a good one. I think that's a mandatory take moving forward. Night Bowl or mid-noon kickoff the game. Night Bowl, Iron Bowl, wrap it up. I think that's what we ought to do. So where should we start? Let's start with the game. Let's do that. All right, we're gonna bebop around. All right, with this one, we're gonna start with the game. We're gonna go to the Iron Bowl. We might come back to Friday. We're gonna bounce around, boys. So lock in. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Like, subscribe, and rate, reviewing. I always get way too ADHD on this Sunday show, so I'm gonna go ahead and give shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. If you have not already, head over to Sleeper today. Use promo code Brooks, get a 100% deposit match, okay? Again, promo code Brooks. Sleeper is the #1 fantasy and sports gaming app focused on bringing people together. All right, head over there today. Get in on the action. Use the promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match, up to $100, all right? Just enter more than or less than on favorite keynote players and key stats in key football games or basketball games, baseball games, whatever your fix is. Head over to Sleeper today, promo code Brooks. All right, let's get after it. Let's start with the game. Ohio State rolls 27-9. Here's my take on this one, and I know it's Big North football, and I know it's Big Ten football, and I know weather's just as much of a role and just as much of what they consider to be postseason, late into the year football as anybody else. Oh, they play in the elements in the NFL. Every NFL owner that possibly can build a new stadium right now is building it indoors. So if that game were played indoors, I think Ohio State wins 54-17. If that game weren't in the middle of a snow flurry and it be 10 degrees and wind howling and all the nonsense, I think Ohio State rolls 54-17, 48-17, whatever it may be. I think they thump them. But how about the start of that football game, right? Start of that football game got your boy getting tagged in old takes exposed because, God forbid, I watched the first quarter and I'm like, damn, Michigan got the football, and albeit it was a 36-yard run, longest run Ohio State's allowed all damn year because the Big Ten offenses can't summon a damn thing against these boys because they're that good defensively. 36-yard run, settle for a field goal. Boom, Julian saying pick. First time they touch it. Hell, first play that they touch it. I'm like, there is something. There is a mental first 10 minutes of that football game. You're like, damn, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. Back at the big house. We might not win, whatever the rap lyrics are. Hey, thought it was going to be again. Oh, here we go again. Like Michigan, mental hurdle. What's going on here? Nope. And what really should have let us know as a viewing audience member that game was probably going to end up getting relatively ugly for Michigan, and it was going to be an Ohio State win, is the fact that they got what essentially equated to, due to the explosive run and due to the short field created by a turnover, they had two opportunities in plus territory and couldn't summon anything worth of an explosive. Couldn't summon anything worth of, all right, let's capitalize. So it was going to be, hey, if you're going to score 17 points today, Michigan's going to have to steal 5 short fields. That's what it was going to be. Like, y'all, and I understand Ohio State's defense is incredible. They're the best defense in the sport for my money. Second, Oklahoma. Couldn't even find a third. Honest to God, like we're probably going to Texas Tech, Georgia range when we're talking about third best defense. Oregon, we're probably going into that range of defense. And I think there is a plethora of holes in those arguments for either of those defenses, right? Like, that's how good these two are. So when you get the ball in those areas of the field, and we know points are at a premium, and we know it's going to be really hard to not only move the football, but really, really hard to score today when we're settling for field goals, it's going to get ugly. It's not going to end well for us because, again, we're going to have 5 short fields to even score 17 points. And that means eventually we just got to have, the best defensive performance of our life today at Michigan against what is the best offense in college football, or we're going to lose this game how we lost it, right? 27-9. And that's exactly what ended up happening, right? Eventually, they just started to pick apart Michigan's secondary. And I think that's our next point that we need to talk about. The design against the too high look to get Carnell Tate that wide open was immaculate. And we know that everyone playing Ohio State is going to do their best to take away Jeremiah Smith, and the only way to do that is to double team him. And then they're going to do their best to try to live on islands elsewhere, and then they're going to do their best to try to get after the quarterback. That's the only answer, right? Hey, we got to make them one-dimensional today. So we're going to have to take away Bo Jackson in the run game, and they had a better run game than we imagined today, so that's a problem. Hey, we got to take away Jeremiah Smith, so that means we got to double team him. That means everybody else pretty much is one-on-one. All right. So now we got to make sure we don't get beat by Carnell Tate. All right, but also we got to figure out how to get after the quarterback. So they couldn't stop the run. They did a good enough job taking away Jeremiah Smith, even though he had a touchdown. Don't get me started on saving the whales with the return on that call. I'm not here for losing game by, it was 17, 18 points, being dominated for 4 quarters, basically. Let's call it 3 quarters. Being dominated by 3 quarters and be like, well, shit, if the refs would have just gave us that one call, maybe things would have been different. Let's not do that today, shall we? Anyways, couldn't run the ball or allowing Ohio State to run the ball. Jeremiah Smith ultimately impacting the football game despite the fact that you're doing everything you can to take him out of it. Can't get after the quarterback, and Carnell Tate's getting loose. Loss, gonna lose. Don't tell me about, what if it was a touchback? You would have got the ball back at the 20 and punted the football to them 4 plays later. Shut up. Don't do that to me. We all watched that football game. We all know Ohio State was about to just squeeze you for 4 quarters. So I don't want to be doing the whoa is me. What happens if the referees save us? No, let's not do that. I still don't think they are tested, right? Like everybody outside of college football or outside of Ohio State has had this take and should have this take. I think Ohio State's the best team in the country, but I don't know because they haven't been tested in a 4th quarter football game. They ain't gonna get it. I think they're going to take Indiana for a walk next week, but that's for a later discussion. Anyways, that ain't it. That's adversity. That ain't a test. They got put into 1st quarter adversity. That was not a test. Michigan is so one-dimensional offensively, and they can't. And then that one, they couldn't run the ball. Negative 10 yards rushing in the second half of that football game. So, that's not a test. That's adversity. And to their credit, they are the best team in college football by a margin. I don't know if it's a wide margin. They're the best team in college football that has not been tested. They got their first bit of adversity, all right, since August 30th, and stared it right in the face and didn't even dare to look flappable. I thought the offensive line was the most impressive performance or impressive part of that performance because it wasn't like Michigan didn't try. Michigan tried to throw everything at them, through the kitchen sink in terms of simulateds and pressures at them, and they picked it all up. Did they have a free runner one all day on Julian Sayin? I don't think they did. He did a great job playing really, really calm and competitive from within the pocket. I think it's 22 or 29, whatever the stat sheet was. Tremendous job. But tips to the O-line. Tips to the O-line for making sure that kid played clean for 4 quarters because he did. So there's that. Hand up. I got to admit, I like to admit when I'm wrong. I don't know about anybody else, especially when it comes to player evaluation, because I think I'm really, really good at player evaluation. In fact, if you're a coach listening to me today and you're a buddy of mine, I probably already told you that one day I might aspire to be a college football general manager or might aspire to be the director of player personnel at one of these fine establishments. Wouldn't mind it. It's about player identification, developing relationships, and helping develop young men. I'm all about that, baby. I'd be all about that. And in fact, I think I'd crush it. And I'm going to do something that somebody that would apply for one of those jobs would never do, because scouts will never admit when they're wrong. Scouts will always excuse away as to why they were wrong. But hand up to God, no way I thought Caden McDonald was going to be this. And he went to high school 30 minutes from this damn studio. Caden McDonald is about to be the number 1 nose tackle drafted in the NFL draft in a year, or in the spring. He is going to be the number 1 defensive tackle taking up off the board. Never did I think that was going to be it. I thought Caden McDonald was going to be a really, really, really good college football player, because I thought he was a really, 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 really great high school football player here in the state of Georgia. Did I ever think he was going to be this type of athlete at 326 pounds? Hell no. Did I ever think he was going to grow 1.5 inches and become 6'3"? No, because he was about 6'1", 305 pounds, really sawed off in high school at North Gwinnett. Did I think he was going to be a rotational 3-year player at Ohio State? Yep. Did I think he was going to be a 2-year difference maker? Nope. This guy, wrong. That guy, great. What you can never develop or bank on, what you can never project, in my opinion, is how hard a kid's going to work and ultimately how much better he's going to get. You can't place a true factor and a true analysis point on that. You can't. And for that matter, I think they've done a very similar thing with Edric Houston. So I was wrong on guys that are from this state that, by the way, the program in this state was wrong on as well. Because Ohio State came into this place and took Caden McDonald when Georgia, I don't think really 100% wanted to. And they took Edric Houston when I know for a fact Georgia didn't really want to. And those guys are going to play meaningful minutes down this stretch in college football playoff time. And they're going to play damn good ball. So there you go. You can't hit on them all. You can't miss on them all. All that good stuff. That's a miss. That's a miss by me. When a player in 7A is that damn good for that damn long, you don't doubt it. You don't. You just say, hey, bottom line, great college football player. He's going to be really good. Don't know if he'll be a first-round draft pick, but it don't matter. By the way, getting really great college football players is the job. The job is not to get first-round draft picks every time you pick and stick. The job is to get really great football players every time you pick. Let's talk about the Iron Bowl. I told you. I need it bookended. I need it started with the game, and I need it ended with the Iron Bowl. Alabama escapes. What's that word say? I believe it says escape. Escapes. 27-20 down there on the plains. We need to look into that Auburn football. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We need to look closely at whatever it is Auburn got going on with their balls. Because they were slippery for 4. They couldn't hold on to them. Now, the Ashton Daniels interception was, damn, son, you don't have to throw it that hard. That's a running back over there. He can't catch that ball. And before he even had a tried to close his hands, that ball's off his shoulder pads, and it's headed back the other way. So that's unfortunate. But the Cam Coleman one was just, all right, I wanted to tweet this one bad. I did. They had 3 timeouts, though, so it's a little bit different. First and foremost, call the timeout. Minute and whatever seconds. So I don't care what the football timeout, game clock management bullshit handbook says. Don't give a damn. You have a quarterback in Ashton Daniels who has played 3 games all year long, ain't really played all that much football, is in the biggest game of his life, and is in the middle of a 2-minute drill. It's already chaotic as shit. Why don't you just call a timeout and help the man out? First and foremost, help the whole bunch out. Help them all out. Call a timeout. Get it situated. Slow everybody down. You got 3 of them. The clock is burning. You're about to snap the ball with 50 seconds left. I don't necessarily know if I love that, first and foremost. All right, but I think, hey, defensive coordinator, in that moment is DJ Durkin, probably thinking if I were on the other side, the last thing I would, the first thing I would want is a breather right now defensively. Let me collect my thoughts. Maybe he thought, hey, we're having success playing fast, continue to play fast. There are multiple theories there, all right? That being said, I think Cam Coleman should be fighting his way to get out of bounds right there, not fighting to make another, hey, can I turn an 8-yard gain into a 12-yard gain? Buddy, we need 40, and every second counts right now. Get your butt out of bounds. And I think if he does that, we don't put ourselves in a position where Bray Hubbard puts his helmet on the football, and we might not lose the ball game. All right, so all that being said, that's a superhuman. That's our superhero. Cam Coleman has been the only reason why we're even competent offensively for most of the year. Yeah, 4 had a great game today, but if 8 ain't superhuman, we ain't doing nothing. So don't coach it out of them, kind of that thing. So I get that. I don't want to be over coaching a kid like that. Let him make plays. For me, the player of the football game is Xavier Brown, which brings me to my and Bray Hubbard with obviously another massive play, putting a helmet on a ball again. Alabama's not a playoff team if Bray Hubbard doesn't force a fumble against Georgia and Nate Frazier and force a fumble right there against Cam Coleman. I don't think. I think those 2 football games go totally different if those 2 things don't happen. Now, I'm not guaranteeing Auburn scores there, but damn, it sure looked like they were moving the football, and I damn sure don't want a bunch of, attempts at the box with Cam Coleman out there. So it damn sure looked pretty scary, all right? And I think it goes totally different if Bray Hubbard doesn't do what Bray Hubbard does, but that is football. That is football, right? That is, hey, the best teams have the best players who make the best plays. That's why they win games. Like we can sit here and say, oh, they didn't deserve. I'm not a big does he deserve to win guy. Did they win guy? That's what I am. Did they win guy? Bray Hubbard and that defense consistently found ways to win. Bray Hubbard and that defense consistently found ways to give the ball back to their offense, which is what we need to talk about now, because this is the reality. And I in no way thought this is where we would be at this point in this Kalen DeBoer regime. At no way, at no point in my mind through the first 8 weeks of the Kalen DeBoer timeline at Alabama could I have told you, hey, it's going to be a defensive-led team in about a month or about a year from now. A year from now, they will have a quarterback who arguably for 12 weeks of the season was playing the best ball at the position in the sport, but they'll have to be carried by their defense in the last 2 football games. They will have to absolutely 100% be carried by their defense because the passing game won't get put together. The running game has consistently been flawed all year. And though, hey, you'll finally run the football well against Auburn, you ain't going to be able to throw the damn ball because now your offense and your quarterback and your passing game has become way, way too pressurized. Your passing game has now been told, you have to win us the football game every time we roll it out. That's the way they approach it. And if we get any help anywhere else, it is all by luck and happenstance. It is all by individual efforts from Jam Miller. By the way, he's now out. No way I could have sat here and said, yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the Kane Womack show. It's going to be the Kane Womack show and the Xavier Brown show. No, I didn't think that's what it was going to be. I thought this was going to be a football team carried and led by their offense. And the defense was going to be Bama's good. Maybe not Bama great, but Bama good. It's the inverse. The defense is carrying this football team. I ran the stats today. Guys, that defense gave Alabama's offense 13 possessions in this football game. They got Auburn off the field and gave the ball back to their offense 13 times in this football game. Alabama went 3 and out in 6 of those 13 possessions. I fully expect them to look like the 09 Pats against Georgia next week in the SEC championship game, but this has been it all year. This has been this football team. This football team has been completely, consistently inconsistent on the offensive side of the football. And it's a different problem every week, right? And look, I want to say this. They are really banged up. You would be a completely biased hack if you looked at Alabama's roster right now, if you looked at Alabama's situation and said, oh, well, there's no reason why this is. You can't point it out. Like, guys, Brailsford's banged up. The center's playing in a cast. Jam Miller's now out, has been banged up all year. Hell, we got people in the chat saying he's been playing on one leg for 6 months now. The starting tight ends banged up and out. They're playing a freshman at that position. Ryan Williams disappeared in the middle of the game last night. Like, they are a banged up football team, as is everybody else. But the reality is, like, they have been this consistently inconsistent, flawed offense all year. Like, they couldn't run the football against Georgia. They just happened to have a quarterback that went 9 for his first 9 on third down. That, statistically speaking, that won't happen again. It don't even have to be about Georgia. Statistically speaking, you are not going to go 9 for your first 9 on third down. You're not. Especially not in one half, which means the defense you're facing has constantly put you in third downs. So it's been an anomaly how they have managed to get out of these things. You know what I mean? Impressive, really, really impressive defense, tip of the cap, right? Managing games, finding ways to be really, really critical, like 4th and 2, right? Winning the criticals. We've talked about this all year long with this team. They have found ways to hide their roster inefficiencies. We'll talk a little bit more about this with a team like Oklahoma in a couple of minutes. Like, I'm not being out here. I don't want to be sounding like too negative, like a hater on Bama. Again, this is it's more impressive that they have found ways to do this, knowing that they have flaws, and continue to find ways to win in the margins and win tight football games, especially on the road, right? So it's important, or it's impressive, but you can't ignore the fact that they are flawed. Like, there are problems with this football team that need to be talked about. So there's that. Where do we want to go next? Do you want to jump back to Friday? Let's talk quickly about Oregon pulling away from Washington. Actually, no. Let's talk SEC ball. Let's talk SEC ball. Y'all want to? Guys, a lot of people in here today. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed to this network, please do. This is your first time watching us today. I'm gonna let you know. I have so much to talk about. We might break a record for like length of solo stream today. Ain't even gonna be mad about it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're firing off in the chat. We got a lot of people in there. Okay. Let's talk Vandy's win over Tennessee. 45-24. Vandy opened a can in the second half. And look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I am not trying to be disrespectful. But it's the reality. 24-3. Come on, Big Daddy. Come on down here, Vols. I mean, just not great. Not great in the second half of that football game. I said on Paul's show Tuesday when we did our film breakdown, which will not happen this week. I will be on with Paul Friday in person at SEC Fan Fest. So if you want to come down there, you catch your boy suited and booted. Come holler at me, maybe make a sign, do all that good stuff. We'll be there Friday. We will not be doing Tuesday film breakdown, but we'll be doing so much film breakdown on this network this week, it'll make your head spin. Okay. So anyways, let's talk about this one. I said, Paul, one of the 17 times I said, Paul, I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe the film. I think it's maybe they don't think this guy is twitchy. Maybe they don't think this guy will kill you. Maybe they're not scared of him. But nobody spies this dude. Nobody Nobody chooses to spy Diego Pavia. The last thing defensive coordinators in their list of problems on Vandy's or offense look at is like, hey, number 2 will take off and run and murder me with a 60-yard run. They never think about it. So what does he do? Because he probably won't. He probably not going to beat you for 65. Probably not going to explosively slit your throat. You'll probably get him tackled. The only problem is if he goes on 6 25-yard scrambles, we are beat. We're beat. So can we not rush this dude with integrity? Can we not keep our eyes on him? Have y'all not figured out that he is everything? That he's the total encompassment of the offense? That if we don't keep an eye on 2, we are going to get screwed. Anybody? LSU looking like Blake Baker just getting for 4 quarters. How do you give up 100 yards rushing, 100 plus? How do you give up 100 plus yards rushing to a cat that might run 4.75? You ain't talked about it all week. That's how. You ain't talked about it all week. That's how. Nobody. Kentucky didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about it in this one. Lena, Tennessee didn't talk about it. LSU didn't talk about it. Nobody in the entire defensive staff ever stood up in the room and said, hey, coach, probably need to talk about mush rush this week. Hey, coach, probably don't need to be getting upfield this week. Hey, coach, this guy can take off. Hey, coach, 3rd and 7. We probably need to rush 3 and drop a spy. Nobody. It's crazy. It's at this point, it's time to have a very, very tough conversation at Tennessee about defensive football because the head needs to roll. And look, I honest to God thought it was Tim Banks. And look, he's the one who has to die on the sword at the end of it. He the boss man. He's the head honcho of that defensive organization, and it is 100% on him because the offensive coach that is Josh Heupel has way too much going on over there to be even thinking about doing standard quality control on the defensive side of the football, which honestly is maybe a point about Heupel, maybe a point about being an offensive play caller as the head coach. You have no ability to make sure your defense is being held to a proper standard consistently throughout 100% of the time, 365, and you ultimately have these kind of whoa type of performances defensively because there is no quality control from the head man on the defensive side of the ball. So there's that. However, I looked it up today. These are the defensive, total defense, points per game allowed stats since Tim Banks has been the defensive coordinator at Tennessee. 2021, they finished 90th. 2022, they finished 36th. 2023, they finished 23rd. 2024, they finished 7th. I mean, an absolute straight uphill elite peak of a defensive performance. They have just consistently gotten better. 92nd. 92nd in total defense this year. So somebody's got to go. A head has to roll. All right. But is it Tim Banks? I don't know. I'll tell you this much. I don't know if it's a defensive philosophy problem because let's be honest. It's not Tim Banks' fault that Jermon McCoy is out for the year. It is not Tim Banks' fault that Boo Carter just decided, I don't give a damn about getting better ever again. I'm just going to be in rap videos and drive fast cars. I ain't even going to come to summer workouts. I don't give a shit. Is it Tim Banks' fault? I don't know. Is it Tim Banks' fault, right? That they also play a style of defense or offense that puts their defense at risk at a much higher rate than most football teams, right? Is it Tim Banks' fault that the interception rates and the turnover rates went up this year? Is it Tim Banks' fault that they couldn't consistently run the football, thus to protect time of possession, thus to protect their defense? You see what I'm saying? Like, we can contextualize all of these things. I will tell you this much. Whoever coaches safety and linebackers, we're going to bring them down into the room, though. We're going to bring them down into the coach's office if we don't fire the defense coordinator, and we're going to have a serious, stern conversation about whether or not you are the guy, because they were absolutely abhorrent at linebacker, and they were nowhere near as close to good enough at safety this year. So we need to talk about those things. But I don't know 100%. I can't sit here for one, and I tweeted it, but I can't 100% for certain sit here today and say, if you fire Tim Banks and hire a competent defense or a better defense coordinator or the next hot name, are you 100% better? I don't know that to be the case. All that being said, if Durkin says, to hell with this, they just hired Golish, I ain't being no defensive coordinator for this. I'll go be a defensive coordinator for the OG wide choice. You hire DJ Durkin in a heartbeat, and he will make you a national title contender. Boy, that'd be fun. But I don't know if that's realistic. So before we start firing defensive coordinators that a year ago were the 7th-ranked defense, maybe we hold off. Chat saying Tim Banks is the safeties coach. Oof. What's old Willie Martinez doing up there, by the way? Hold your tongue. Hold your tongue, don't say it. Hold your tongue, don't say it. I'm looking at myself, telling myself to be, cuidado, papi. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. I know you want to right now. Let's talk about Vandy. Vandy's season has been poo-pooed upon, and that's unfortunate. And Diego Pavia will go to New York. He won't win the Heisman, I don't think, but he'll go, and it'll be a good story, and we'll get to talk about them for another week when they, in any other year, are probably a college football playoff team. I mean, guys, this is a football team that beat the 10th-ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Is it their fault that we now know that South Carolina was all preseason hype? No, I don't think so. Is it their fault that they knocked Lenore Sellers out of the football game? No, I don't think so. They got thumped by Alabama 2 weeks later. That's their fault. They look like poop against Alabama. Their quarterback went out there and needed the ball pregame. They look like poop. He threw 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions, whatever. They look like poop. Is it Vandy's fault that LSU was ranked 10th and now we all think of them as poop? Because any other year, Vandy beats LSU and goes 10-2, and we're like, shit. They were 10th at the time, as was South Carolina. Is it Vandy's fault that 17th ranked Missouri is now poop? I don't think that's their fault. In fact, I think they're part of the reason they're poop. You know? Kind of hurt the quarterback in a red zone possession. Is it their fault that all of their resume builders any other year, you look at those wins, you look at South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee, they beat LSU. You look at any other year, they go 10-2, and you're like, damn, that's a playoff team. But they got their doors blown off for 2 quarters against Texas. And yeah, the Bama loss is terrible. But other than that, man, a 10-2 team that beat South Carolina 10th, LSU ranked 10th, Missouri ranked 17th, Tennessee ranked 19th. Any team that does that is a playoff team. Any team that does that and is named Vanderbilt, holy hell, wow, what a dream season. And your trophy will be a 3rd place finish in the Heisman. That sucks. That's not your fault. But it's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast. But the Heisman appearance is cool, though. I mean, it's like what the last 3 weeks of the season have been about. So you'll accomplish that. You'll get a trip to New York, and hopefully, no, he's had a bad enough day. Hopefully Bale is posted by then. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. Let's move on to Eugene. Or that one was played out in Seattle. Let's move on to Washington. Oregon and Washington. Tight for 50 minutes. 51 and a half. I think 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. Malik Benson takes a dig to the door. Runs through, 4 angles. Absolutely just bangs his head on the goalpost. I'm glad Malik Benson is working. I really am. Last 2 weeks, he has flipped games on their head. He's been the reason that they have won or the reason why they are about to win, right? It was the punt return last week against USC, and this week it's the dig, just walking through 3 angles at safety. That Big Ten speed in the secondary, elite out there, Washington. Walks right by him. And I'm glad Malik Benson is working, and here's why. There ain't no better JUCO wide receiver tape than what that kid put on. Wow. Oh my God. If you go back and watch Malik Benson JUCO tape, whew, that's the best JUCO tape you'll ever see. He's the fastest kid alive. Honest to God, fastest kid alive. You watch that and you're like, how is this not going to work at Alabama? You know what I mean? It was insane to watch that. He made Jamison Williamson tape look slow at JUCO. Hutchinson, I think is where he went. So glad to see it's looking like it's supposed to look out there at Oregon. That's awesome. Here's what I want to say about Oregon. They're a physical football team and program. There's no doubt about that. They win moments over and over and over again until you either beat them or your dam breaks. Like, think about it. Since Dan Lanning has got there, take away the first game he ever played against Georgia. Since Dan Lanning has got there, apart from Ohio State and Georgia, is there a football program in college football the last 3 years and projecting over the next 3 that is more accurately predictable from a standpoint of, I know what they're going to be today, than the Oregon Ducks, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and Georgia? Again, Georgia and Ohio State, or I should say Georgia and Ohio State, have won. Oregon's got to go win a national title at some point. Oregon's got to go win playoff games, for Christ's sake. Like, Oregon's got to win. But from a August to December standpoint, is there a football program that fits this category of 100%, I know what I'm going to get from a performance standpoint from this football team today, other than those 3 football programs? Alabama's up and down. Every other football program is up and down. Penn State up and down. Texas up and down. Michigan up and down. This is it. These 3 football programs every single Saturday are going to show up, and you're going to have to physically and long-lasting 4 quarters beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to have sudden, we can't run the ball today, but we might have to throw for 500. No, just steady performance football. Now, the last infinity, you got to actually win. You got to actually go win. And that's very, very important moving forward. But I feel as if I know what Oregon is. I feel as if Oregon has an identity, and whether that identity is good enough to win a national title, that I don't know. But I know they're good for 10 and 11 wins every single year. Let's go back to the Friday games. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Georgia beats Georgia Tech for the 8th straight time, 16-9. We talked about the baseball analogy this week with this football team, with this football game, right? Talked about a baseball analogy. We said that, hold on, I want the good stuff. All right, let's talk about it. Hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. We talked about this Georgia Tech matchup leading into it, right? Obviously, Thanksgiving week shows we're kind of messed up just a little bit because of schedule. But we talked about it all week with regards to how this was a baseball-type analogy football game. And here's what I meant. Analytics have told us that the third time a lineup sees a particular pitcher, they fitting shell him. Their ability to barrel the ball has gone dramatically up. They've seen the pitching windows. They've seen the sequencing. They understand the makeup. They see, maybe the fastball's lost its juice, whatever it is. The third time that lineup sees that pitcher, they about to shell him. That's what analytics tell us. So what did I talk about going into this football game? I felt like this was the third opportunity for this defensive brainstem, right? Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, maybe getting a little help from Muss. Who knows? The defensive brainstem that is Georgia, that is inarguably probably the best defensive mind building room that there is in college football. I mean, maybe you could say Matt Patricia coming down and doing what he's doing right now at Ohio State, worthy of this discussion. But when we talk about, the last 5 years of college football, what program do you associate yourself, now that Nick Saban is gone, do you associate with consistent defensive excellence? Georgia. That's who they are. So you give this brainstem 3 opportunities to prepare for, and call plays against, execute, watch film, evaluate, grade, fix. You give them 3 opportunities to do all of that against a nucleus of Haynes King and Buster Faulkner, no matter how good they are, no matter the fact that they're averaging 485 yards of total offense a game entering the contest, no matter what it is, you probably going to get some barrels on some bats. And boy, did they shell that ass for 4 quarters. That's what they did. That was the best defensive performance Georgia could possibly have against that Georgia Tech football team, right? I think, hell, one of the field goals only created due to a short field because of a Gunnar Stockton interception. We'll talk about that here in a second. But from a defensive standpoint, that's as good as it gets. The 250 yards of total offense, absolutely didn't even give them an opportunity to get in a 4th down conversion. You know how hard that is? You know how hard it is to play Georgia Tech and never, not once, did they get into a 4th and 1? Do you know how good you have to be on 1st and 2nd down to do that? That offense is predicated off of manipulation, eye candy. We are going to make you misfit gaps and compromise you based off of that. And there wasn't no misfitting gaps. There wasn't no miscommunication. There was just striking and shelling for 4 quarters from that Schumann and Kirby Smart-led defense. So there is that. Now, let's talk about the offensive woes. I want to give specific shout-outs. Shout out CJ Allen. I mean, tough as nails playing through that right there. All right, coming back in that football game, in a game where I don't think the world, I mean, I'm talking to, I'm not going to portray no confidence. I'm talking to people pregame, and they're like, I don't know why we're doing, he don't need to play. Like, we got to play. He don't need. Georgia Tech, he needs to play. He's from Lamar County. He needs to play. That's the way he felt. Shout out Raylan Wilson. Shout out D-Line. Shout out KJ Bolden. Shout out Ellis Robinson. Just an elite defensive performance. Now let's talk about the actual problems. Okay, let's talk about the things that people want me to talk about. Offensive woes. I've already watched the tape. I'm already ready to break it down. I got notes. And I got about 11 plays I need to talk to the quarterback about. It was a bad day at quarterback, and you'll see it. There is no doubt about it. Did Georgia Tech play it well? Yeah. Rolled down, cover 3. Corners playing ballsy. In your face, press, bail, cover 3. Tight cover 3. Doing a really good job. Safety's not giving a damn. Safety's playing at 8 yards firm. Stop the run first. They can't beat us deep. They play great. Georgia Tech played great. Defensive coordinator, very well respected. Georgia's coaches love that defense coordinator. If he ever gets fired, just like when they fired Andrew Thacker, the son bitch going to be on Georgia's staff. It's no doubt. There's no doubt. Tremendous amount of respect. They had a great plan. All that being said, I think I counted 10 or 11 snaps that if the quarterback executes at the rate we know he can, totally different story. Third play of the football game. They are running cover 3. We are in 3-by-1. We run Oscar Delp from the number 3 position as an H on a sail route into cover 3. The corner is in hard bail. The tight ends are running the grass. You got to throw it. You got to rip it. Instead, we take a non-sack. It's 3rd and 10. Doesn't matter. We got it. We got to rip it. We got to rip the football. Got to trust ourselves. We choose not to. All right, that's a problem. 9th play of the football game. The middle field safety in cover 3, boys, he's parked at 8 yards. We got our eyes on him. We put the ball into the belly of the back. The safety does not move. He is so firmly committed to y'all ain't running the ball today that I'm going to stand right here. And I ain't playing over the top. I don't care if Noah Thomas is one-on-one with the corner running into the deep third. Doesn't matter. I'm going to stand right here, and I'm going to play firm on this. We have to compete. We got Noah Thomas one-on-one with a corner, basically, because the safety has no chance of getting back to the middle of the field because he's committed to stopping the run. We got to hunt. Instead, we try to complete a ball into Dylan Bell on the deep over. No, sir. Noah Thomas one-on-one. Let's go. You know what I just realized? Oh, no. We had echo cancellation on the whole entire time. Audio should be sounding pristine. We got to compete, baby. We got to go. We got to see that safety squatting at 8 yards. We got an opportunity to blow the doors off of it right now. It's the 9th play of the game. 65-yard touchdown right there in front of us. We got to go. We absolutely have to. The 22nd play of the football game, he misreads the safety structure. All right, completely misreads it. The field side safety is very clearly committed to playing a hole. All right, they're splitting the look. They're going from 2 high to 1 high. It's very obvious if you just put your eyes on the correct safety. And what it would have done is instead of hunting a shot to Dylan Bell into the double covered window, because the middle field safety is committed to that. All right, and yeah, we draw a PI. That's awesome. We got Zachariah Branch one-on-one versus a nickel corner, and he is running for 75 yards. And if we have just noticed that the safeties were split, we probably would have figured that out. Yeah, we got 15 yards. Should have had 55. These are the types of plays, guys, that moving forward, you can't have one of these days. Moving forward, like every game's must win. Every game's against great, high-quality competition. Every game, we might need to score 35 today. Every game, we might need to score 42 today. Every game, we damn sure can't have negative turndowns. You know what I'm saying? Those types of things. The very next play, 22nd play, misread the structure. 23rd play, after a PI, our feet and our eyes are completely disconnected. We work the front side of the progression. We have an opportunity to hit a comeback, I think it is, or a swing. Either way, our feet and eyes completely disconnected. We look down, put our eyes on the rush, take off running. We can't do these things. We can't do these things if we're going to win a national title. All right? And that's what you guys are trying to do. And he knows this. Look, I say all this, and I'm super critical, and I feel as if I can only do this. I'm going to be honest with you. Last year, I felt like I couldn't do this because I felt like if the quarterback was watching me last year and I was this hard on his performance, who knows? You know, I don't care to do this now because you know what? Ain't nobody harder on their performance than 14. So here it is. We're going to lay it out. We're going to go to the film and we're going to show you because I know he's doing the same thing. It's the only way you have this rapid growth, right, from this football player as you've had this year. I think it's good news. One, he had this performance. Maybe it's the last one. Hell, it's the first one we've seen from him in 2 months. So it's a bad day at the quarterback position. Y'all still ran the rock really, really well. Y'all found a way to win. Defense showed up, picked everybody up. That's great. Now, a couple of major concerns. The Drew Bobo injury is a problem. And I went into the season telling you just how good 74 was going to be. He's been, apart from the first week, he's been that and more. He has been a godsend to this offensive line. From a protection standpoint, from a run game Mike identification standpoint, from an absorption of slants standpoint, 74 is the reason, one of the primary reasons that Georgia is, I don't know, top 25 in sacks allowed and top 25 in rushing yards per game allowed or gained. He has played great football. The center that replaced him in Malachi Tolliver is a significant drop-off for my money. That's a concern. That's a real concern. Like, to the point where I think Cortez Smith, I was told, was dealing with something, all right, an ankle injury probably. He's got to get healthy, and we've got to find out who the best option is at center. I'm not saying Malachi Tolliver is not winnable. He is passable right now. He's a young football player. He will get better, all right? But 74 was playing that good, and it's that much of a shit type of loss. So there's that. Number two, and it's another injury thing. Colby Young no longer being in this lineup is showing now. Like, it didn't show the last month or so. It's obvious now. Because when they get in 3-by-1 sets, guys, I think I counted 3 downs that were, he's got man-to-man coverage, what we call Meg coverage, man everywhere he goes. Basically, in other words, we're in 3-by-1. We have 3 weapons over here, maybe 4. The back might be opposite of the X. And we have an X receiver over here. And he's got one-on-one coverage with the corner. There's no safety help over the top. We've isolated now. We're going to play math. We're going to give our guy an opportunity for a one-on-one. What I am describing is the close of this offense all year last year. All year last year, Georgia got into situations where games were tight. Hey, let's give it's 1st and 10. Let's give Dylan Bell an opportunity for a 45-yard chunk right now because they've conceded to giving him one-on-one coverage. Well, it's 2nd and 10 3 times on Saturday. That's what it was. And granted, they were all heavily contested. They were all really, really tight. They may have gone your way in another day, and they have gone your way other days, right? Ole Miss got gutted by Dylan Bell one-on-one late. Like, I'm not saying you can't convert these. I'm just saying you didn't against Georgia Tech. You didn't against Notre Dame, all right, last year in this situation. So that's what concerns me, because I watched you late in seasons I'm not going to say it's disrespectful to say you're just chopping the down, but you've chopped the down. You chopped the down against Notre Dame. You just say, okay, 1st and 10, now it's 2nd and 10. 2nd and 12, now it's 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12, we're giving Dylan Bell a one-on-one chip off the field punt unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that showed up. That showed up in that film. You'll see it. And it showed up against Notre Dame. And it's not your fault. Again, it's football. It's injuries. Colby Young gone. It's a total different scenario if that is what the situation is for Georgia at the X position. But right now, that ain't it. So that's a real, thing I'm paying attention to. It's an inefficient opportunity right now, one-on-one for you. And until you start winning more of them, we can't just be like, as a quarterback, oh, we got one-on-one over here. Let's hunt. I don't think that's to be the case moving forward unless you have the optimal matchup, which, maybe you get one. We talked about it, man. I think Dylan Bell is much better for this offense when he is a Swiss Army knife, not we think he's an X receiver. They didn't recruit him to be an X receiver. They have been placed into a position where he has had to do that the last 2 years now because of injuries or whatever. So there's that. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. We got to talk about Texas now. Texas and Texas A&M. I guess we should say we got to talk about Texas A&M now. We got to talk about Texas A&M's loss. And I want to talk about that first and foremost because I get labeled a Texas hater now, despite the fact that I've loved up on Arch and held firm on my Arch stock all year long. But I've been labeled a Texas hater, and that's okay. I probably went a little too hard, too many tweets about the subject. So that's probably why I've been labeled this. I did it to myself. I'm not playing victim here. But I feel as if A&M went into that football game thinking, no way they can run the ball. So we're going to get after their quarterback. We're going to play the pass. We're going to hunt this guy. We're going to get upfield. We're going to be aggressive. And the next thing you know, you are the first team to allow a 100-yard rusher all year to this Texas offense. And if you've ever watched Sarkisian football, the moment he can run the ball, you're cooked. You are absolutely screwed. Screwed 10 ways to Sunday. The moment Steve Sarkisian can run the ball, everything's off. We going to score today. We're going to be able to throw the ball. We're going to be able to hit you with explosives, and you're in trouble. The moment we can run the ball. The only problem for Texas is they ain't been able to run the ball all year. All year. And A&M's the first one to do it. I haven't watched the film. I've only watched the TV copy from Friday night, and I watched it live, obviously, rewatched the TV copy. But if I had to bet, I would bet that they were parked 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they were discombobulated. I bet they were playing Tetris defensively. If you're going to be this is the best way to explain it. If you're going to be a good run-stopping defense, we have to build walls. We have to build walls on the first level, and we have to build walls on the second level. And there can't be no running in between those walls if we build a wall. However, if we start getting discombobulated in those units, if that first wall is all up on different levels and that second wall is all up on different levels, now we've created creases in the run game, and Trey Wisner's going to find them. And that's what happened in that football game. Okay? So credit to Texas for finally figuring out ways to do that. Also thought they had tremendous action off of that once the defense was really, really concerned about Trey Wisner for the first time all year. So kudos to Texas for doing all that. And by the way, Arch was exactly what I told you he was if you watched the film study. If you watched the film study going to that ball game, we told you this was a big, fast, physical MFer. Like, this dude is going to compete. This dude's going to run through arm tackles. This dude's going to threaten you with his legs. This dude's going to make so many wow throws. He's also going to spike one every once in a while. But this dude can beat you. This dude can beat you by himself. God forbid he ever gets any help. And that's exactly what happened. He finally got some help. But, I mean, y'all have all seen it. The climbing up into a pocket, flipping my hips back around, touch throw. The rapid growth that player has gone through, incredible. It's really happened over the last 2 or 3 months. It really, really has. But let's get this out of the way. Texas's performance Friday night, it encapsulates everything about them. And it confirms what we already knew about the Texas Longhorns in 2025. Great win. 3rd win against a top 10 football team this year. Nobody's done it since LSU. God knows we know because everybody's told us. Everybody knows that stat. We all know. Great. Texas is one of the most, if not the most, talented rosters in all of college football, worthy and capable of beating absolutely anybody, any given Saturday. They're good enough to do so. However, their body of work also indicates that they are very unpredictable. And they are also capable of going into overtime against Mississippi State, going into overtime against Kentucky, losing to Florida, and getting their doors blown off by Georgia. Just as they are capable of going 28-0 or whatever it was against Vandy, blowing their doors off, just as they are capable of playing Ohio State close, just as much as they are capable of playing Oklahoma and beating their doors off 28-6 through defensive special teams and finding ways to win offensively. And though they are capable of beating Texas A&M, they are the same football team. That's what you should be addressing. And I appreciate the lobbying efforts. Honestly, it's the best lobbying effort I've seen from a football program outside looking in of the playoff picture to date. There is not a football coach that has used his platform. There is not an organization of a football organization that have used their brand and their awareness and their fan base to ignite a playoff resume push quite like Texas has. It should be admired. Every football fan base should look at what Texas is doing right now, both in the media and with their coach and with their fan base and with their players. Michael Tapp hit it with a nail on the head in postgame. Nobody is lobbying better than these guys. That being said, look at your own self. Figure out why you have had such inconsistencies in terms of performance instead of telling me and threatening to ruin all out-of-conference scheduling because you couldn't get yourself in order against games every single week. I do not like that. I do not like using this as, keep Texas out. Keep Texas out. Watch what happens to the non-con schedule. Guys, I'm here to tell you right now the non-con schedule is going to get shit on anyways because y'all made the SEC go to 9 games. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you right now that you were already committing malpractice scheduling Notre Dame in 2 years. What were you doing? You got 9 SEC games, Bubba. Why are you scheduling Notre Dame? Don't be doing that. Why? Because you're willing to do so? You're willing to go play the best. But when you lose to the best, you want to threaten to never play the best again. What are we doing? No. Beat Florida. Don't get your doors blown off by Georgia, and don't play Kentucky and Mississippi State tight. Or just be that version of yourself year-round, because that version of what you put on display Friday night, 7 years ago when everybody loved this sport with no flaws, 10 years ago when everybody loved this sport with no flaws, that's the level of standard you had to play at consistently to ever even be in discussion for a national title. Not this, we're 2 and 3 versus top-ranked teams. Okay. Or whatever your stats are. 3 and 2. I don't know what you get what I'm saying, man. I admire that y'all have the ability to play this good. I just want you to play that good year round. That's what is required to be a champion. And I think if you looked yourself in the face, you would admit that. But great lobbying effort. Great lobbying effort. Let's get into this OU win. It was ugly. you found some explosive. I mean, it's been the same recipe for 2 months now. Shit, all year, it feels like, for Oklahoma. Can we just create enough explosives to maybe score enough points to get out of here with a 17-13 win? Can we do it? Can we find a way? They did. They found a way. Now, I have seen the takes. Oh, don't make me watch this Oklahoma offense in the playoff. Dude, don't. I mean, Aaron Murray fell for it. Don't. I don't want to watch this. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to be the football team to find out whether or not I can go score 24 points and beat Oklahoma. Not against that defense. I do not want to be the team. And you'll say, oh, but Ole Miss did it. Ole Miss playoff team. Oh, but Texas did it. No, they didn't. They scored 23 offensive points. And thank God they got special teams and defense themselves. I don't want to be the football team to find out whether or not I can go out offense or out defense that football team. I don't want to be them. Because, yeah, Ohio State's actually got a scary-ass offense and the nation's best defense, but they still got the nation's second best defense out there at Oklahoma, and they can still beat your ass. They can still score themselves. They can give their offense short fields. John Mateer can find an explosive bust at some point. Now, all of a sudden, they've scored 20 points, and you got to find a way to score 21. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to be the one to have to do it. Like, honest to God, they're the 9th-ranked seed right now. They're kind of situated to play Notre Dame in the opening round. Why can't they win a 17-14 football game? Why? Why can't they turn C.J. Carr over multiple times? That's going to be the best defense by a mile that C.J. Carr and Notre Dame have faced all year. Can they win a national title? No, I don't think so. Do I want to be the team to have to go outscore them? No. Let's talk coaching moves. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rating, reviewing. We'll get to Super Chubs at the end of this. D-Rig. Lane to LSU. Golish to Auburn. Summerall to Florida. Not all official, but all official. I mean, it's happening. It's absolutely happening. Let's start. I mean, that means Ole Miss and Arkansas kind of left holding the bag here, but let's start with Lane, I guess. It's getting really, really ugly. Really ugly out there. He's actively threatening to attempt to both leave and absolutely like pillage their roster in hopes that they let him coach their roster, which is an asinine thing to me. Here's the threat from Lane Kiffin. If you don't let me coach this football team the next month, I'm stealing everybody to LSU. Well, coach, you're asking me to trust you over the next month to coach this football team and this program with wholesome intentions? I'm supposed to expect that over the next month and a month and a half, you're going to coach and walk around our building and not already try to pillage the roster and not already try to pillage the coaching staff. You're the head coach of the LSU Tigers. You got a staff to start creating. So I'm supposed to let you walk around my building for 30 days and talk to everybody about here's how we beat so-and-so. Also, by the way, Baton Rouge? And I'm supposed to trust you to not do that after what you just did? Absolutely hell no. Absolutely hell no. You're an insane person for even thinking you can. And you can sit here and say, woe is me, I'm a victim of the calendar. Buddy, the calendar was there the entire year. You did not have to troll this entire fan base the entire time, okay? There was never in any situation ever going to be a smooth transition from the Ole Miss head football coach going to LSU. Never. All that being said, you kind of poured gasoline on the entire situation every single chance you got an opportunity to do so. You don't get to coach this football team. There's no simulation ever where that's allowed. And to be a media member and come on a microphone or put a camera in front of your face and to tell Ole Miss football people, you'll never have this chance again, shame on you. Shame on you. Guys, they gave this dude the most perfect roster Ole Miss would ever have, ever, last year. Not this year, last year. They gave him an extremely good roster. He proceeded to go 9-3. They gave him everything he needed again this year. He proceeded to go to 11-1. And then turn around and tell their entire fan base, their entire athletic administration department, everybody, I don't think I can win here. I don't think I can consistently win a national title here. I think it's going to be a lot easier at LSU. That's what he's telling them on the way out. That is the reasoning for him taking this job. And whether or not I think he is right is beside the point. Whether or not I have been on this microphone telling that fan base and that it is a better opportunity. It is easier to win at LSU. 100% in agreement with you. All that being said, I don't get the right to tell that athletic administration department that. You don't get to. You don't get to stand here and tell a fan base, you'll never be here again. Who are you? Who are you to tell them that? You can't do that. No, the LSU head football coach cannot coach the Ole Miss Rebels. Ever. Not for a day. Never. Heard a lot of people comparing this to the Kirby Smart situation. Oh, Kirby stayed with Alabama back in 2015. There's 1,000 reasons why that is completely different. First and foremost, no transfer portal. Secondly, no early signing day window. Like, this is totally asinine. And look, again, you can blame it on the calendar. That's fine. But, buddy, we all knew this was coming. We all knew this day was coming. And you had every opportunity to not handle it the way you did. And look, I think he's a great football coach. I think he's going to do really, really well at LSU. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this Ole Miss fan base got bent over a barrel and shown all 51 states. I'm including Puerto Rico. I mean, they got shown them all. And now they ain't got nobody. They ain't got nobody. Who they going to hire? What they going to do? Best season of their football program's history. And this is how it's going to end. Golish to Auburn. Now, look, it's not y'all's fault. Actually, it is, because y'all won't be watching this place. Y'all should. You should watch this place a whole hell of a lot more often if you are an Auburn football fan. We would help you out just a little bit. But as this was announced today, that Alex Golish would be taking this job, I tweeted this, and I quote, all right, wow, wide choice headed to the Plains, and Cam Coleman should be headed straight to the portal. Now, this is why this is interesting to me. Because Auburn fans are all in the comments talking about Alex Golish has got a really good offense. The numbers are great. This is perfect for Cam Coleman. What the hell are you talking about, guy who just always hates Auburn? Hey, look, I love the wide choice offense. I love what Heupel's done to morph the wide choice offense into a non-wide choice offense. I think it's solid. I don't think it's all that conducive in its basic forms. Everybody lining up outside the numbers constantly and running goes or comebacks and choosing between those two wide options, wide choice. It ain't all that conducive for superstars at the wide receiver position. Now, Tennessee's done a lot to mold that offense over the last 3 years since Golish has left. I don't think Golish has done all that molding down there in South Florida. I think he's still doing the wide choice at its core of wide choice. That ain't conducive for Cam Coleman. I know Cam Coleman can run a go. I know Cam Coleman can run a comeback. That's all he's been doing the last 2 years in Hugh Freeze's RPO system. I think the best thing for Cam Coleman would be able to be running the full tree, like run the whole route tree, run everything. Because right now, if we were to draft you, if you set out next year, you're a top 32 pick. That's beside the point. We know you're an NFL first rounder. My question is, are we going to be able to see next year what makes me think you should be a top 3 overall pick? Because I think that's what you should be. And all the responses to the tweet today indicated to me that Auburn fans have no idea who it is they just hired. And that's okay. Like, he's a great football coach. I think he's a winner. I think he does things the right way. I think it's okay. I think it's a good hire. I think it's better than what you had. I'm not here to crap on it. I'm just here to let you know you have no idea what you just hired based off the way that y'all responded to me. And that's a concern because you don't know what you hired as a fan. So there's that. People say, it's the Tennessee offense. Not really. Not anymore. It was 3 years ago when he left, which is the most Auburn thing to do. Hey, and I'm not saying they had any options. The options were to promote DJ Durkin, which I thought was the route I was told they were going to go. It was getting real loud out there, and maybe it was a smoke screen that they were going to promote Durkin and then hire a really, really highly paid offensive coordinator. And they were going to go DC OC and go that way. But they hired Golish instead. So, again, I'm okay. I think it's a win, but it's to be determined. I don't think it's like a home run hire. It just concerned me that we don't know what we got going on. I think we know that Alex Golish scored 52 points that one time against Alabama, which is good enough to be the Auburn head football coach. If you have success against Bama, unless your name is Gus Malzahn and we don't like your system because it's too gimmicky, we'll keep you or we'll hire you. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rate, reviewing. It'll be very interesting to see 2 wide, quote unquote, wide choice systems in this conference. And I have always said, I think it's a great decision to have a schematical tweak or a schematical gimmick or a schematical advantage, or you're trying to take advantage of the schematics at a place like Tennessee, because a place like Tennessee historically, apart from that one run into the 2000s where Georgia was shit, Nick Saban wasn't at Alabama. Apart from that one run into the 2000s, Tennessee will never recruit inside the top 5 on an annual basis. Tennessee really won't recruit inside the top 10 on an annual basis. That's what history of this recruiting sport tells me. It's a sport about talent acquisition. It's a sport about recruiting. It's a sport about getting as many great blue chip players as we possibly can. And the history of the last 25 years of this sport tells me unless Auburn or Alabama sucks and Georgia sucks, Tennessee is not going to recruit inside the top 5. So they need, or the top 10. So they need a schematical advantage. We've talked about this. They need to gimmick it. I don't think Auburn is that. I think Auburn's 5-hour radius and commitment from Yellowwood and the history tells me Auburn does recruit inside the top 12. Hugh Freeze just got done doing that. Hugh Freeze was a 500 football coach, and I'm pretty sure annually recruited at a higher rate than Tennessee did. I don't know if they need this. You see what I'm saying? Could be my thought. Could be wrong. To be determined. Let's talk about Sumrall to Florida. Now, this is one of those situations where I like this, but I don't think Florida fans will like this because this is not their fun modus operandi hire. Like, they were sold on Lane Kiffin, and that's fine. But I think they were more sold on the idea of Lane Kiffin. And here's what I mean. They wanted a Power 4 proven winner that had a good offense. That's all they wanted. That's all you will ever hear from Florida people every time that job is open. Basically, can we win the way Spurrier won? Can we get somebody in here that won the way Spurrier won? It's why they hired Mullen. It's why they hired Napier. It's why they wanted to hire Lane Kiffin. They are an offensive brand organization. That's what that fan base cares about. That's what that booster base cares about. And here we are with a defensive-minded freak. I like it. I think that's what they need. I think they have tried way too many times for fun, glitz, glamour, offense. I think it's about time to get a lunatic that cares about that defense up in there. And that's what they got. They got a guy in Summerall who I think has a potential to be the next young defensive freak. Young defensive-minded lunatic, obsessed with the process, don't give a shit about bells and whistles, don't care about winning press conferences. Just a lunatic, just a freak, just a process-oriented goofball that is just all about ball. I like everything I've heard about Summerall and everything I've seen from Summerall. I don't know how Florida fans feel about this. Maybe they'll help me out here. Hour and 20. Let's get to Super Chubs. They cried all last year about making sure SMU didn't get penalized for playing in a conference championship game. So we'll burn it down if they try to leave Alabama out if they lose to Georgia, once we know Kirby won't miss twice in a season. Alabama fans not feeling confident about a matchup against Georgia? You're lying to yourself. You feel confident. By Saturday, you're going to have that little elephant in your ear telling you, we own these boys. You are. You're going to have that feeling. So you might feel like poop this week, and that's fine. I want to remind everybody. Of a 2023 Iron Bowl in which Bryce Young was sacked 7 times and then proceeded to give up 0 sacks in the SEC championship game against a Georgia defensive line that had Jalen Carter, Trayvon Walker, Nolan Smith, Jordan. 0. Y'all stop. I can't wait to tell Bama podcast hosts that they're being goofy. I'm going to tell them all to shut up. Does Bama have a chance? I can't wait to be asked, and I'm going to tell them all, shut up. How dare you? How dare you act as if you do not have the mental edge here? To hell with you. How dare you? Shut up. Do you think Georgia does better next week with Bama? I don't want to spoil everything. I was about to tweet it out yesterday. I don't want to spoil everything, but if you think I'm going to come up off my it's Bama till it ain't prediction methods this week, buddy, you don't know me. You don't know what we preach. We preach consistency around these parts. That's all I need. All I need you to be consistently you every single time. And I've consistently told you I will be picking Bama to beat Georgia until Georgia beats Bama. Will I break that trend this week? I guess you'll have to tune in to find out. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love you guys. I mean, seriously, over 8,000 people currently watching. If you have not been over to YouTube and subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? Honest to God. I mean, we're on the precipice of 87,000 subscribers. I want to get to 100K before the end of the season. If January 20th hits and this channel hasn't hit 100K, I'm going to be disappointed. I feel as if we have earned it, okay? We are not some overnight success. This ain't been it. This has been a 7-year climb and grind, all right? And some of y'all have been in this chat the entire time, watching this climb. Bring some new folks in here. Make sure they subscribe. I love you guys. We'll see y'all next time.